this recipient graduated in 1987 from Rose Hospital in Greenville, North Carolina. After graduation, he went to serve in the Marine Corps, where he was deployed in Desert Storm in 1991. Following his service in the military, he met his wife, Sally, and they married in 2001. He is the father of 4 children. In 2005, his health began to fail. After several visits to the doctor in Greenville, North Carolina, and after several misdiagnoses of pneumonia, he was referred to Duke Hospital in Durham, North Carolina. It was at Duke Hospital where the doctors diagnosed him with lung disease. At that time, the doctors informed him that he needed a double lung transplant, and he was placed on oxygen. After trying several meds, his liver began to fail. At this time, the doctors informed him that not only needed a lung transplant, but a liver transplant as well. As time went on, his needs for oxygen increased. As his health began to deteriorate, he was then told, "You're going to die. Right now, we're just making you comfortable." He was then placed on hospice. Certain circumstances surrounding his insurance disqualified him from being on the transplant list. As his health continued to fail, he continued to have faith in God. It was by his faith that God stepped in and rearranged the insurance situation, and he was then placed on a transplant list. As the days and weeks went by, waiting for an organ donor, his health was rapidly deteriorating. It was by the grace of God that he received his first phone call for an organ transplant. Sadly to say, the organs were no good. Not long after that the call, he received a second call. At this time, he was barely conscious. However, he managed to write a letter to his wife, stating that all he wanted her to do, just in case the worst happened. Hours later, the nurse came in his room, gave him good news, that they were about to prep him for surgery. After 26 hours of surgery, he finally received his organs. And I'm proud to say he is here with us tonight, and he's going wonderful.
Yes.
This ordeal inspired him to write a book called Through It All. Somehow we made it. It also inspired him to reach out to his family of his organ donor, who in turn reached out to the media. Since then, he has received outpours of emails, phone calls, and etc., telling him how his story has touched them and how they too would like to be organ donors. His goal is to continue to spread the word of God, just as God has used him to show the unbelievers that miracles are still happening. His hope that God will continue to shine in their light dim situation. He hoped that his experience and his book will continue to help those that feel that there is no hope. So tonight, the 2019 Triumph of the Year Award goes to Deacon James Jones.
Just good to be in the house of the Lord one more time.
Yes.
And I had this right here, but the gentleman before me made me do this right here. So, but I would like to share something with you. And first I like to give honor to God. And I'd like to thank everybody. I'd like to thank Bishop Mary, his first lady, and Jobe Chapel family for just having me. I'd like to thank Pastor Black missionary black. And is St. John in the house? I like to thank my parents, my mother, my dad, my sister, my brother-in-law, my little niece Taylor. Emma, all them came all the way up from Georgia. My son and his girlfriend in the back, and my other kids, there could be other kids and everybody out of town. And I just want to thank my wife who is, I can't say enough about this lady. You know, the way for me, you know, all the accolades are good. But I just like to say, God get the glory out of my story. I thank God for the accolades, but God is the one. He is the one. And I just like to say to my wife, you know, I can't say enough about this lady. You know, but I just love her. I love her.
Amen.
I love her. She's one of the reasons that when I was sick and down, and she kept me encouraged, kept me kicking. And when I felt like I just couldn't make it no more, she said, "You can make it, baby. You can make it. You can make it." To my church family, all the prayers, all the fastings, Pastor Black, my dad and mom, everybody, everything that everybody had done. But I say, God get the glory out of my story.
Yeah.
And I just think about in the Bible, when I was sitting down in the hospital, it's been going on 12 years now. January made 11 years since I had my double lung and liver transplant. And even when I had my transplant, the doctor said, you know, you might buy you 5 years to be with your family. But it's been 11 years.
Come on now.
But even when I was in the hospital, and the doctor came in my room and said, you know, only thing we're doing for you is making you comfortable. So we're gonna have to send you home on hospice. So I told the doctors then I can't go home. I knew if I went home, I wasn't getting enough oxygen at home in the first place. I said I can't go home. The Lord got some work for me to do. And when they left my room, I had what I call a Hezekiah moment. In the Bible, God sent Isaiah to tell Hezekiah to get his house in order. That he only gonna have 15 more years to live. But when Isaiah left, Hezekiah turned his face to the wall. And he cried out. And before Isaiah, when Isaiah got there, God said, "Go back." He said, "Go back and tell Isaiah that I added 15 years to his life." And when I was in the hospital, you know, in the book, when I was in the hospital, I had what I call the Isaiah moment. When they told me, said, you know, ain't that's nothing we can do for you. We got to send you home. We wasn't on a transplant list or anything. So I had what I call the Isaiah moment. When they left my room, I couldn't turn to the left, I couldn't turn to the right. But I looked up to God. I said, "God, you know my life. God, you know my life.
Yeah.
I haven't done everything right. But God, if you don't do it for me, do it for my wife and my kids. I want to raise my kids." And I just cried out to God all I could. And thanks be to God that I'm here today. But God get the glory out of my story. My story is not for me. My story is to encourage someone else. To give that one who don't think they have hope, to give them hope. And my story is for my children. My story is for those who are down. My story is for those who don't seem like they don't have nowhere else to turn. God get the glory out of my story. And I just thank be to God that I'm still here. I'm still kicking. And this is not the end of my story. My story is still going on. And I just thank God for everything. And I would like to share this with you before I go. Okay, I received a double lung and liver transplant in 2008. Okay, Trent, I'm gonna give you a couple of transplant facts. Nationally, there are 112,902 people on the waiting list. New names are added to the transplant list every 10 minutes. 20 people die each day waiting for a transplant. In North Carolina, there are 3,279 people waiting on a transplant. One donor can save 8 lives. One donor can also impact 75 lives through tissue donation. So I would encourage you, suppose it was your child, suppose your mother, your father, a family member. I encourage you to donate, and my donor organs came from a 67-year-old white lady because there are a shortage of minority donors. And we want to take everything with us. We want to take our money, our car. We can't take nothing with us. We can't take anything with us. So I encourage each and every one to donate life on your license, on your medical doctors. Talk to your families. Make sure your families know that you want to donate your organs, because you can save a life. Imagine if those family members that are going on and their heart beating in and out, their kidneys beating. I met the donor family in April, and I didn't know how it was going to turn out. But those guys, they like I done something for them. They done something for me. They done something for me. But just to know that their mother, 67-year-old mother, lungs are in my body, still living. And they talk like this lady, their mother was a teacher at Shaw University. She used to bring in all different nationalities of kids. Talk like she was a wonderful lady. I had to know who was a part of me. And I just thank God. God get the glory out of my story. And just right now, I feel like my toes are a little light. And I think about Chef Paula Dance. You got the right name, because right now I feel like dancing.